as we speak in the house. Letina kona auctioneers ndio wachukue Kenya wanachukua.
You won't believe what just happened to Nyce Wanjeri, the beloved actress who made us all laugh on Auntie Boss, just revealed something that will break your heart.
We were behind rent for a few months, like 2-3 months.
Everything she owned, gone in a single night. Her home, her belongings, her dignity, stripped away while her child watched. This is not a scene from a movie. This is real life.
Makazi, azilipi, you work, it's not enough, it's that time.
And it's happening right now. What could bring a successful actress to her knees, crying on camera, admitting to the world that she lost everything? The answer is going to shock you. But first, you need to understand how it all went down.
That you're supposed to move today. We have not yet gotten a house, but ndio tunaenda kuangalia zingine hapa tulipata.
Today we are diving deep into a story that will shake you to your core. As one of Kenya's most beloved content creators, Nyce Wanjeri just broke her silence about the darkest chapter of her life. And trust me, you need to hear every single word of what she revealed.
Today is the 29th of August. It's morning. I'm leaving this video because I'm shooting this video to share in future, because I know God is a God of another chance, and it is not that you are lazy or anything. So 29th of August 2025, we have never been this low in terms of life. And as we speak in the house, Letina kona auctioneers ndio wachukue Kenya wanachukua. We were behind rent for a few months, like 2-3 months. Makazi, azilipi, you work, it's not enough, it's that time. Tasha has not yet gone back to school.
Right now, at this very moment, the Kenyan actress Nyce Wanjeri is sitting in a new home, surrounded by empty walls.
About us, we lost.
Yes.
Electronics zote tulipoteza, our fridge, washing machine, TV, everything.
Thank God hawakubeba kagari ketu todo.
Gari walishindwa.
Sababu yo.
Those people literally just took everything. And this is not to say that Mazejo, they did not extend us grace.
Yes,
they
did.
tried their level best.
Yes.
But tulishindwa kulipa rent. And it's something that happens across so many people.
Yes.
So we lost everything. Hatuna cooker, hatuna fridge, hatuna TV,
hatuna microwave,
hatuna hufa, hatuna nothing, hatuna roster yetu.
Trying to rebuild her life from absolute zero. The woman who brought joy to millions through her character, Shiro, on Auntie Boss.
This is third term, second term actually bado haijalipwa, so that's why she can't actually even enter the school. I was wrong. It happens, we all say. And this season has taught me a lot, has taught me the friends that I have, has taught me to be peaceful in the midst of chaos, and God has been faithful. I haven't had such episodes like today because maybe it's the last day that you're supposed to move. You're supposed to move today. We have not yet gotten a house, but ndio tunaenda kuangalia zingine hapa tulipata. And so I know it's gonna be alright. I know that God will come through, and this video, I'm creating it so that I can encourage anyone who is going through such an instance and who is in a lower life, or who is going through what I'm going through. Don't worry, King of all kings will come through for you. He has been there for me. He has been there for my husband, for my children. And I also thank my house help for holding it together all this long, like 3 months without pay, and she's still working tirelessly. She has children. We literally Kinyadango, we literally remove kidogo. We literally remove pay her kidogo for her daily kumwangalia mafuta, pads and everything. So I'm grateful for another day that God has given me. I'm grateful for the gift of life, for another chance to work, for another chance to see God. And yes, I've been always that child of God, and I know this is just, but we will be through, and we will pass through this victorious. We shall conquer. Amen. Amen. So you too, don't give up, but you will conquer. Bye.
Picture the scenario for just a moment. You wake up one morning and discover that everything you've worked for is about to be taken away. Your home, your security, and your children's education, all hanging by a thread. That crushing weight of failure, depression, pressing down on your chest, making it impossible for you to breathe. This isn't some hypothetical situation. This is the brutal reality that Nyce Wanjeri and her husband Leting faced just recently, and the raw vulnerability she showed while sharing this story is going to leave you speechless. But before we get into the heartbreaking details of what actually happened, I need you to understand something crucial about the world we are living in today. Social media has created this illusion that everyone's life is perfect, that success comes easily, and that financial struggles are something that only happen to other people. We scroll through Instagram, seeing luxury cars, designer clothes, and exotic vacations, and we start to believe that that is the norm. But what Nyce just revealed tears down that facade completely. The truth is, even in the most successful content creators, the ones with thousands of followers and brand partnerships can find themselves in situations that wouldn't break most people. And that is exactly what happened to Nyce and Leting. The truth is, even the most successful content creators, the ones with thousands of followers and brand partnerships, can find themselves in situations that would break most people. And that is exactly what happened to Nyce Wanjeri and Leting. Behind all those smiling photos and entertaining videos, they were fighting a battle that nobody could see. So what exactly led to this devastating situation? According to Nyce Wanjeri, the perfect storm began when their income stream started drying up simultaneously. Like many content creators, during uncertain economic times, brand partnerships became scarce, companies started cutting their marketing budgets, and the steady flow of sponsorship deals that had been supporting their lifestyle suddenly disappeared almost overnight. But here is where the story gets even more heartbreaking. Instead of immediately downsizing or making drastic changes to their lifestyle, Nyce Wanjeri and Leting tried to maintain their standard of living, hoping that things will turn around quickly. They believed that the dry spell was temporary, that the deals would come back, and that they would weather this storm without making major sacrifices. This is where so many people can relate to their story. How many times have you convinced yourselves or ourselves that a financial setback is just temporary? How many times have we delayed making the hard decisions, hoping that somehow things will magically improve? The psychology behind this kind of thinking is fascinating and heartbreaking at the same time. As the weeks turned into months, the situation became increasingly desperate. Bills started piling up, and the most basic necessities became luxuries they could no longer afford. But nothing, and I mean nothing, could have prepared them for what came next. The moment that Nyce described as the saddest day of her life arrived when they received the dreaded notice. Their landlord had run out of patience after 3 months of unpaid rent, and the eviction process had begun. But it wasn't just about losing their home. The domino effect had already started, and their child's school fees had also fallen behind, putting their family's future in jeopardy. Can you imagine the weight of that particular moment? As a parent, your children's education is sacred. It presents hope for opportunity and the chance for them to have a better future than you did. But when you can't even provide that most basic foundation, the guilt and shame can be absolutely overwhelming. What makes Nyce Wanjeri's story even more powerful is her decision to share it openly. In a world where vulnerability is often seen as weakness, she chose to be completely transparent about her struggles. The tears she shed weren't tears of self-pity. They were tears of someone who had reached rock bottom and was finally ready to confront the truth. During her emotional revelation, Nyce talked about something that millions of people struggle with but rarely discuss openly: depression. The financial stress had taken such a toll on her mental health, and that she had found herself in the darkest place she had ever been. The constant worry about money, the fear of losing everything, the shame of not being able to provide for her family, all of these factors combined to create a mental health crisis that was just as serious as the financial one. This is such an important point that often gets overlooked. In discussions about money problems, financial stress isn't just about the numbers on a bank statement or bills that need to be paid. It affects every aspect of your life, your relationship, your sleep, your ability to think clearly and make good decisions. For Nyce Wanjeri, the depression became so severe that getting out of bed became a daily struggle. But here is what makes her story truly remarkable. Even in her darkest moment, even when everything seemed hopeless, Nyce Wanjeri and Leting made a decision that will change everything. Instead of giving up and instead of letting the shame and depression consume them completely, they chose to fight back. They started having honest conversations about their situation for the first time in months. They stopped pretending that everything was okay and began making the hard decision they should have made earlier on. This means swallowing their pride, asking for help, and completely restructuring their lives from the ground up. The process wasn't easy, and Nyce was very clear about that. Days when the temptation to just give up felt overwhelming. There were moments when the shame of the situation made them want to hide from the world completely, but something inside them refused to let that happen. What is particularly inspiring about their approach is how they decided to tackle the problem systematically. Instead of trying to solve everything at once, they broke down their challenges into manageable pieces. First, they had to secure temporary housing for their family. They needed to address the school fee situation to ensure their child's education wouldn't be interrupted. Finally, they had to rebuild their income streams from scratch. The rebuilding process requires them to be completely honest about what had led to their downfall in the first place. They had to acknowledge that they had been living beyond their means and that they had failed to save for emergencies and that they had been too proud to ask for help when the problems first started. But here is the beautiful part of this story. Once they started being honest about their struggles, they have discovered something more amazing. The people around them were not judging them in the way they had feared. Instead, family, friends, and even their followers have begun offering support and in the way they never expected. This revelation about the power of vulnerability is something that extends far beyond Nyce's specific situation. How many of us are struggling in silence right now because we are too afraid to admit that we need help? How many of us are making our problems worse by trying to maintain a facade that everything is perfect? Nyce Wanjeri's decision to share her story publicly wasn't just about seeking public sympathy or attention. It was not about breaking down the barriers that prevent people from getting the help they need. It is about showing that even successful people face serious challenges that there is no shame in admitting when you are struggling. The response to her story has been overwhelming, and it is very clear that her vulnerability has struck a chord with people from all walks of life. Comments have started pouring in ever since she shared the story and it being presented on the Nairobi Gossip blog post. What makes this even more powerful is that Nyce Wanjeri isn't just sharing the problem, she's also sharing the solution. She has been transparent about the practical steps they are taking to rebuild their lives and the mental health support they are seeking to address the depression and anxiety that came with their financial troubles. Today, Nyce and Leting are in a very different place Today, Nyce Wanjeri and Leting are in a very different place than they were just a few months ago. They are not completely out of the woods yet, but they are moving in the right direction. They have secured stable housing, their child is back in school, and they are slowly rebuilding their content creation business with a much more sustainable approach. But perhaps most importantly, they have learned valuable lessons about resilience, vulnerability, and the importance of having a strong support system. They have discovered that rock bottom can actually be a solid foundation to build upon if you are willing to do the work. The truth is that Nyce Wanjeri's story isn't unique. Millions of people around the world are facing similar challenges right now. The difference is that most people suffer in silence, while Nyce Wanjeri chose to use her platform to shed light into these important issues. Her courage to share her deeply personal struggles has already started conversations that need to happen. It reminds us all that behind every social media profile is a real person with real problems and real emotions. It has shown us that success isn't permanent and that even the strongest people sometimes need to get help. So what can we learn from Nyce Wanjeri and Leting's experience? First, that financial planning and emergency saving aren't just good ideas, they are absolutely essential. Second, that pride can be our worst enemy when we are facing serious challenges. And finally, vulnerability isn't weakness, it's actually one of the most powerful tools we have for healing and connection. As we wrap up this story, remember that Nyce Wanjeri and Leting's journey isn't over. They are still rebuilding, still healing, and still working towards a more stable future. But by sharing their story, they have already accomplished something incredible. They have reminded us all that we are not alone in our struggles and that there is always hope for a better tomorrow.